All right. Traditionally, the council sets its next calendar year schedule at the December meeting, and so we already have groups that are contacting us wanting to know when they can come make presentations at upcoming in next year, in 2015. I took the liberty of looking at 2014 so far, and you have had 5 months of one council meeting per month and 7 months of 2 council meetings per month for a total of 19 regular council meetings, and that includes this coming Thursday as well. In any event, also last year you have had 6 special council meetings and you've had 12 workshops, and that includes the 2 budget workshops. So 10 non-budget and the 2 budget workshops.
Councilman Baer?
You know, the issue I really see here with the council meetings, yes, there are 5 months. You have November, December, then you have the 3 summer months, June, July, and August, where we only have 1 council meeting a month. We just came off a few months of very slim agenda, I think is the plural of agenda, where there wasn't much on there. Now, the one we have this month is pretty robust. There's a lot of stuff on there. I mean, our agenda conference took over an hour. So I worry about some of them getting very lengthy. I also would be remiss if I didn't mention the fact that we are lowering the opportunity for citizens to have input into their government, because we are essentially, during those months we currently have 2 meetings, cutting their time to speak to us, even just in Boyd Forum, in half by doing that. And Boyd Forum is really the only time when citizens can come and address us on just about any issue. We had some people try to do it today, which wasn't really appropriate, but workshop's supposed to be singular focus, but that's really the only time people can come and address us. So I think we already do it during some months, but those are my concerns, and that's where I'm coming from. If we do it, I'd prefer to see a timeline that would give us 2 weeks prior to review the agenda. So that's my 2 cents.
Councilwoman Myers?
I'm not in favor of one meeting a month. I think, given the fact that we're not supposed to be communicating with city staff, that's too long of a period for us not to hear from the city attorney, city administrator, and to have things brought before us. I think, too, that having meetings more frequently, twice a month like we've always had, just keeps us more involved in the things that need to be addressed, especially things that we need to address in a shorter period of time than every 30 days. But also, I think that the agendas will be extremely long, and the meetings will be extremely long, and people will lose interest in issues that are brought before us because the meetings will be so long. So I'm not for having 1 meeting a month. And while it may be somewhat of a burden to staff now, remember, we can hire our own staff. In fact, we have to hire a budget analyst. And so, you know, with us having the opportunity to hire our own staff, hopefully that burden will become lighter for the other staff.
Councilman Spencer?
I appreciate what fellow council member Baer pointed out regarding the constricted time frame of 1 week and what sort of difficulties that may create if we go to once a month meetings. So I concur with him. I think that 2-week interval is appropriate. I think we would get accustomed to preparing and sort of making sure we have in advance our information prepared for that 2-week, if it would be, let's call it the agenda workshop. I also would suggest that because there would be some compensated council staff, that we would have an opportunity, and this is, I'm reacting to fellow council member Myers' basically concerned that she's not able to have those discussions, well, we're going to have someone that can participate in communicating or can communicate with us. So I don't share that same fear that she has, that we have a month long of a void of no communication. And so I also recall that when our former president, council president, Ms. Wynn, mentioned at times that we could have more workshops. And so I too support those. There's nothing that prevents us from having very productive workshops at times when we need them. And so I'm certainly interested in hearing fellow council members, but at this time I think it's not irreversible. If we tried it, so I'm leaning in the direction of shifting to that with the caveats that supports what fellow council member Bear said.
Ms. Canada-Wynn?
Yes, I too, are concerned about, the public input part of it. But for me, next year, I'm scheduling 4 little town hall meetings in my neighborhood so that they can be able to contact me and talk to me. They don't have to wait to come to council to be able to do that. When you work behind the scenes, for example, this week's council meeting, if we were on our regular 2 council meetings per month, next Tuesday, we would have to put in our agenda items. Most of us are concentrating on this week's agenda. And so then the following week, we're putting in other agenda items, and it doesn't give you time to come back and really look at and really research. Now, when we get our own staff and be able to help us out in the researching of this, things could go to workshops, like some of the conversations that we had today, even though those things were initiated by staff and Mr. Barker, some of those things with all of the questions that we had in there could have been handled in a workshop setting, and that they would know that they would be going to a workshop setting and not at an agenda conference. So there are some things to be worked out, as well as making sure that we give enough ample time. And one of the things, when you work behind the scenes and you're in there hustling and bustling, trying to make sure that agenda and all of those things get in there, it does put a stress on that. And to make us more efficient, I think that the once a month with workshops, because we have to have the workshops. We had more workshops than we ever had before, and those workshops allow us to get things said and get things done in a more expedient manner. So I don't see it as limiting council efficiency.
Dr. Wu?
I love following a wise person, so I can say ditto, ditto, ditto. And I also appreciate what Councilman Bear has brought to us. If we do happen to go that way with the 2-week window, the only thing that I would ask for us to possibly consider is within that 2-week window, there are times when there's emergency items that come forward. So if we will, say with a majority of council vote, approve an emergency item, so somebody can't just come up and say it's an emergency, we have to, view it as an emergency. Then there are times where the time may be shorter if we approve that reasoning. But other than that, I agree with what you said. I agreed with what you said. And I understand what Councilman Myers is saying as well. So thank you.
Councilman Wynn?
Well, I would like to follow the same pattern we've been working on. I think what we're doing now is a good way to go. We've come away from the committee of the whole, which was a matter of doing the same things twice. You do it at the committee of the whole, then come back and do it again at the city council. So having the agenda conference has really helped out. Now the citizens that come down and express their opinion, they have that time at the Boyd Forum, but they could still be interacting with the mayor's office, with the staff, and other people to get their issues redressed. For the majority of the time when the people come up and they speak to us at the city council, it doesn't go anywhere from that. I mean, we listen to them, but most of the time, I don't think we take any kind of action.
Councilman Johnson?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, I would like to try going to once a month. This isn't. If we do that, it's not that we can't reverse that. If we try it and it doesn't work, we can always go back to the current schedule that we have now. As far as public, I do appreciate that. It's not like the only time that we get public input is at the board forum. At council meetings. I mean, I got a text yesterday from Mr. Alex Bullitt concerning an issue of one of my constituents. I was at a holiday party with Councilman Bear, although we didn't hear the issue together. I had someone approach me at that holiday party and talk to me about an issue that's before us. So, many times for us just to lay it on public input, and it just happens at the city council meeting at Boyd Forum. That's just not accurate. In today's world with texting, emails, phones, cell phones, et cetera, there's so many opportunities for the public to give their input to us council persons. And I know it happens to each and every one of us around this table often as they walk these streets and work in our communities. So the whole thing about less public input, I'm not sure I'm buying that. As far as staff time, sure, we've got an opportunity to get some more staff. The existing staff we have, if you look at the agenda today, I think if you look over there on top of that desk, there's a pile of, I want to say it's 331 pages there that somebody had to compile, put together. And that's a large task for our existing staff and a burden. And I think that, we do have 5 months a year that we do meet once a month, and we seem to, the sky hasn't fallen. I mean, the world hasn't collapsed. The city hasn't fallen down. We still have managed to somehow, at once a month meetings, those 5 months, the city has seemed to persevere and carry on. And the citizens have also had opportunities to offer their very much input on many different things. So I'd like to try it for 6 months, 8 months, take a look at it. Maybe try it to the end of the summer and just see how it works. And if it's broke, I would be willing to make a motion to fix it, to go back. But I'd like to try it. I think we can do it. I have a lot of confidence in this council, and I think that we can make it work. I have a lot of confidence in the mayor and his staff that we can make it work. And again, this public input issue, even though it means a very lot to me, and I want the public's input, I get public input every day, all day, often. Even on Sunday mornings at 8 o'clock in the morning. So I would support going to once a month and trying it. Thank you.
Okay, well, this being a workshop, we can't take any formal action. I've kind of considered what everyone spoke of, and I'll have an add-on item for the agenda, the meeting on Thursday that we can discuss and vote on. Good? All right. We're adjourned.